Okay, friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel that is Study Material. So, as we have started a new series that is Officer in Indian Army. So, the topic that today we are going to take it on the desk that is the tour of duty. So, what is the tour of duty all about? That will we be discussing in the subsequent slide to come. So, now to begin with the very first slide about the tour of duty. So the tour of duty, this word is spreading like a fire among the defense community. There is excitement and confusion in everyone's mind. So now excitement, there is an excitement because the young aspirants or the defense aspirants are getting quite excited because of the new service that has came into the picture, and on the other hand they are having a confusion that what this service is all about, how they would be recruiting, and what are the facilities that the government would be giving to the person who is serving in this commission, and what are the functions or what are the facilities that they would be exempted, and how it is different from the short service commission. So these are a few of the question in the defense aspirant's mind. So these all this confusion would be getting cleared in the subsequent slide to come. To begin with the very first point, that is the tour of duty is widely followed in many developed countries like Israel, USA, and many more. So India is not the very first country who has proposed this type of commissioning. Indeed, there have been many more developed countries who have been following this practice since ages. Although in some of the countries it is mandatory to serve in their army for at least 1 year or 2 year or 3 year, whatever the number it is, but in some of the country this is optional. So India is opting for the optional. It won't be compulsory to for the young aspirant to join the Indian army for tour of duty. It would be completely optional. So let us understand what is tour of duty and how it would be functional in India. So, as I have discussed that it won't be mandatory to Indeed. It would be only for those aspirants who are interested in joining the armed forces. Now, moving to the next point, that is this service is for youth who don't want to make the defense service as their permanent vocation but still want to experience the adventure of military professional. Yes, the point is quite clear in itself that if since this service had been started for the year or for the period of 3 years, so the main motto behind this is that those youth who want to serve in the Indian Army, but those who don't want to make it as a lifetime career in Indian Army or Indian military, so they have a golden opportunity to serve in the Indian military for 3 years and get the adventure of the military profession. So now moving to the next point, the idea is to shift concept of permanent service toward voluntary internship experience for 3 years. Now, so why this shifting or why this transition is done? So that we'll be discussing in the next slides. So now people are having confusion that what would be the selection process since the service is only for the 3 years, so will be exempted from the SSV or will the SSV bill a bit easier? So the answer is no. The selection process would still remain the same. There would be no relaxation in interview processes. Although the notification that right now it has been given, the information that has came from the government, it is that there would be no examination conducted for this for the interview. Although there would be some criteria in order to call them in the to the interview process, although those criteria has not yet been revealed by the government and it is still in the working process. Now when a candidate gets selected for tour of duty, the officer cadet will undergo same training as other commission officer apart from 3 years of service and will receive the salary higher than that of commission officer. So this point is quite clear. Now let's move to the next slide. Now, coming over the facilities that one would be getting in the tour of duty. So, the very first facility that is listed is that his salary won't be taxable. That is, no reduction of tax would be done on his salary. Now, the next facilities that they would be getting is the canteen facility, medical facility, and all other facility that is given to the other commissioned officer, that is in the short service commission or in the permanent commission. So whatever the facilities that that are given to them will be also given to the person who is serving in tour of duty. Now, let's move to the next facility. So, they would also get preference in PSU and private sector and also in higher education. Yeah, this is something that is of quite concern in the young aspirant, that what after 3 years. So, if a person has served in the Indian Army for 3 years, they might think that after the 3 year they won't be having any experience in any of the corporate or regarding any of the PSUs. So where they will go, what are the opportunity after this? So government has said that they would be given the preference in the PSU and the private sector and also in the higher education. So this will be a quite relief to the aspirant who are thinking to join Indian Army as a tour of duty. Okay, so now let's move to the next slide, that is the motive. So what is the motive of the government to start this tour of duty? So let's see. The very first point which comes in the motive is to boost the modernization of army with talent coming from every field. So right now what it happens that there are many of the young aspirants who want to join the Indian army or who want to test the adventure that is prevailing in the army culture or army environment, but they don't want to make this as a permanent career. So they back out from their decision and they work in some different fields. So those aspirants would be giving and will be getting an opportunity to serve in an Indian army. So this will boost the modernization and also the different talent of from different field would be coming into the Indian army. Now, next point is that will save substantial amount of cost in form of pension and gratuity. So when a person is serving for the permanent commission, then as we know that they are getting the pension throughout their life. So once if a person is serving in the tour of duty, so a huge amount of money would be saved of the government in the form of pension and gratuity. Now, moving to the next point, that saved money will be used in modernization of weapon, modernization welfare, and overall development. So what does this mean? So whatever the money that the government would be saving from the pensions or any other facilities that are not given in the tour of duty, so that amount of money would be used in the modernization of weapon and modernization welfare and overall development. So this was all regarding this slide, and moving to the next slide, here I have given you the cost estimation if some officer, if one is getting a short service commission and one is serving in the tour of duty. So what are the differences? So here you can see that the orange color bar, it is showing the cost incurred on an officer who lives after 10 to 14 years. So the cost incurred is around 6 or 6.5 crore if a person is serving in a short service commission for 10 years or 14 years. Comparing this to the person who is serving in the tour of duty for 3 years, so we could see that there is a significant amount of deduction that the government would be saving from this type of commissioning. So as here you could see in the blue color bar, the cost estimation for a 3 year service is less than 1.5 crore, and this is really a significant amount of saving for the government. And this all this saving the government would be using in the modernization of weapon and the welfare of the army personnel and the army activities. So yeah, that was all about the tour of duty. If you liked our content and if you want that we bring to you more grooming content, so kindly like our channel, share it with your friends, and if you have any doubt, any suggestion, or anything that you want to know regarding the interview processes or the preparation for the CDS, kindly write it down in the comment section. We will